Hi there, if you're a flute player and you would like to learn how to get faster progress through learning the tweaks of proper flute technique, you're in the right place because my name is Jane, I'm a professional flute teacher and that's what I teach. Have a listen to these 5 pro tips, numbers 16 to 20, and you're going to probably learn something that you didn't know before. Pro flute tip number 16. Did you know that there are many ways to get a fluffy sound, to suffer from a fluffy sound on the flute? One way is when you lose too much air out of your embouchure. So here is one way that you can lose too much air out of your embouchure hole in your mouth, causing you to get a fluffy sound. This is firstly what we would like you to sound like. With a really strong, clear sound. If you have too round an embouchure hole, compare what I just did to this. Can you hear how much fluffier that is? It's a weaker sound. I run out of air really quickly and it sounds really fluffy. And if you compare those two embouchures, one has a small hole like I was doing originally, and one has a round embouchure hole. It's only a little bit, but it's enough to make you have too big a hole and to lose way too much air out of your embouchure hole. If you think this is you doing a bit of an ooh sound, when you play the flute, I want you to think more rather than ooh. And you can see how the shape of my lips changes from an ooh, which we don't want, to an And of course, when you say close up your mouth so that you have a tiny little hole. So you don't want ooh, you want more I hope that helps. Now the next pro tip is very similar. This is another example of how you can lose air out of your embouchure hole, waste air, causing a fluffy sound. Let's go with the next pro tip. Pro flute tip number 17. If you have a fluffy sound on the flute, and you would rather have a strong sound on the flute like this, one reason that you could have a fluffy sound is that the hole in your mouth is too big. This is very likely the reason, and there's a number of ways that you could have too big a hole in your embouchure. This pro tip is what to do if you have too wide a hole and it's too smiley. Not necessarily tight like this, but definitely too wide like this. Can you hear that I have a fluffy sound when I do that? And it's a bit too E. Now what to do instead is, instead of E, you can see that the hole in my mouth is a bit too wide and a bit too big and I'm losing sound, which makes the sound fluffy. Instead of that, think a bit more and close up the hole in your mouth so it is smaller instead of being too wide. If you like this pro tip, subscribe to the Flute Academy YouTube channel and I will send you more pro tip videos. Hey, after watching those 2 pro flute tips on why you might have a fluffy sound, if you think either one of these is you, let's go into more detail, more depth, and let's fix your fluffy sound so that you have a stronger sound for free by joining me at www.flute.school. If you haven't already done the free little course there, which is 3 tips on how to improve your embouchure shape to get a stronger sound like this, then join me there, www.flute.school, and I'll give you the 3 tips for free and you'll get a much stronger sound instantly, like instantly. It's that quick. Here's pro flute tip number 18. Do you know what a multiphonic is? A multiphonic is when you play 2 notes at the same time on the flute. It's generally a party trick like this, and sometimes it's quite ugly like this. But in reality, in more modern music, in contemporary music, multiphonics is actually a technique that is used in more often very advanced pieces and more modern pieces of music for the flute. I'm going to show you how to play that ugly but easy multiphonic. If you put your fingers on for high D, So thumb on at the back, top finger up here, 2 down, and then pinky. This is high D fingering. All you have to do to get this multiphonic, this ugly but easy multiphonic, is not blow so hard. And you'll get that low, not very nice sound as well. And then try and get the high note as well. And you just sort of hover in between those 2 notes. And there we go. If that is the very first multiphonic that you've ever learnt, congratulations. Welcome to Pro Flute tip number 19. So I'm going to show you a multiphonic that is beautiful sounding, but hard to play. A multiphonic is when you play 2 notes at the same time. For example, like this. Well, we got more of one and then a bit of the other. Let's see if I can actually get it together. There we go. That is a multiphonic, and it's hard. This is a combination between D and F. And the fingering for this multiphonic is put your fingers on for F, so normal F, and then add your 2 trill keys with your spare fingers. Firstly, try and get the low note. Whoops. Oh, I got both by accident. And then try and get the high note. And then hover somewhere in between and see if you can get both at once. And you'll probably get one or the other, and then see if you can actually get both at the same time. There we go. I got it for a second. So that is how you play a beautiful sounding but difficult multiphonic. Welcome to Pro Flute tip number 20. So this one is very interesting. If you find that you have clunky fingers when you play and it feels like your fingers are stiff and slow and clunky, well, did you know it's probably not your fingers that are the problem. It's tension from further up your body. And one place that you have tension is in your shoulders. If you have sneaky shoulder tension that you might not even know that you had, your fingers can sometimes sound like this. See how they sound clunky and slow instead of which is much more fluid, which is what you want. The tension can be in your shoulders, and let me show you how to check out if you have tension in your shoulders. I want you to play and make your shoulders scrunched up and tight deliberately like this. Just play a few notes. Then relax your shoulders and use your arms to hold up your flute. I've got that plant a little bit close to me. Use your arms to hold up your flute and relax and float your shoulders. And see if that feels different. If that feels different and it feels like your shoulders are a little bit more relaxed, congratulations. This is the first step to freeing up your fingers. This is the sort of thing that we talk about in the Flute Academy all the time. All the steps on how to reduce tension in your body to make your fingers flow much faster. And this is the very first step. Well, that brings us to the end of our 5 Pro Flute tips for this video. Don't forget, if you would like a clearer sound instantly, www.flute.school. I'd love to see you there after I show you 3 tips to adjust your embouchure and get you an instantly clearer sound. My name is Jane. I run the Flute Academy, which is where I teach adult flute players how to progress much faster with their flute playing by learning proper flute technique. I'll see you in the free course. Bye.